So Ravens flock. I hope everybody's having a good week so far. I was feeling a little under the weather, but the Ravens dominated the Cowboys in the preseason game that passed on Saturday. So overall, I'm feeling pretty good. The final score was 31-13. It went as well as you could have possibly hoped it would have gone. Still not a whole lot we could take away from it, considering that this is the preseason and many of these guys are either not going to make the team or are going to be developmental players. But there's still several things that I was pretty excited about. One of the main things was just Tez Walker. He had a easily the best game of his young career so far. 6 catches, 61 yards. They showed that they were willing, or at least experimented with the idea of trying to find different ways to get Tez the ball. I don't think that's going to make a big difference this year because, you know, we have so many other options to get the ball to. So at best, maybe Tez would be like the seventh option. Because again, we got Zay, Bate, D Hop, Isaiah likely will be back by like week 3. Mark Andrews, Charlie Kolar is better. Charlie Kolar is better than people give him credit for. He's probably gonna get some targets too. Obviously, Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell and Justice Hill. Like Tez really can't fit into that a whole lot. However, by next year, I think there could be potential to see Tez see a much bigger role. Doesn't necessarily mean he's gonna be a star, but hey, if he could even be a really solid number 2 or number 3 receiver, I would be very excited about that. Because you look at next year, D Hop is probably not coming back. Uh, the only scenario I could see D Hop coming back is a scenario where maybe, assuming we get all the way to the Super Bowl and win this year, maybe he tries to re-up for one more year to see if in case he wants to be a part of us repeating Super Bowl appearances. But after this year, there's a good chance D Hop may retire, or he may just want to go to another team. Like let's say D Hop balls out and has 1,000 yards, he may want to get one last big contract from somewhere else. So he's probably not staying beyond this year. We all 3 of our tight ends are gonna be due for contracts at the end of this year. They're probably gonna let Mark walk. They may let Charlie Kolar walk, but they may be able to bring him back for a relatively low amount of money. But of course, Isaiah likely will be their main target when it comes to who they want to bring back on offense next year. So that's like what 2 to 3 players that may not be on this team next year. That would open up more opportunity for Tez. But I'm interested to see what he can make of the opportunities he does get this year. I don't see him getting more than like maybe 25 targets this year, maybe 30. Assuming everybody is healthy. If somebody gets hurt, it's a different conversation. But otherwise, I think maybe Tez gets like 20, 25 targets this year. If he makes the most of it, I would be extremely excited. Like if he got 200 yards this year, considering all the other weapons we got, I would be more than happy with that. One of the other takeaways I had was when it comes to our weak side linebacker competition, it's essentially a 3-man race now. I haven't talked much at all about Jay Higgins so far, but Jay Higgins is obviously another linebacker who is a undrafted free agent who has really been picking up steam within the Ravens flock over the past like month or so, and he's been showing out in the preseason. Teddy Buchanan has been looking pretty solid as well, making some plays in the backfield, looking explosive. Trenton Simpson, I think he's been, looking okay. Not as good as I would want him to be because this is his 3rd year. So I would like to see him look. Ideally, I would want it to be Trenton to be the starter, just because this is supposed to be the point where he's entering his prime, where he actually understands what's going on. But you can't predict everybody's career. So either way, as long as somebody, regardless of if it's Trenton, Jay, or Teddy, if somebody could just come in and be competent to where Roquan's not overcompensating for him, I'll be very excited about that. One of the other things, probably the biggest thing that I took away from this game is Keon Martin, the cornerback, somebody who I was not paying attention to at all. He balled out in this game. He went crazy. he's probably gonna make the roster. Well, I can't say probably, but I imagine there's a good chance he's gonna make the roster now, considering that unfortunately Robert Longerbeam and Bilal Cohn both got injured this year. So, and then also, even though Jalen Armour Davis looked good last week in the other preseason game, we know JAD has a history of getting hurt as well. So there's a good chance that Keon is gonna find his way onto this roster. But I was very excited about that. We easily have the deepest cornerback room in football. Not saying Keon is a star, obviously, but again, Chidobe Awuzie is our number 4 corner, and he himself is a starter. So once you get to a guy like Keon Martin, he's maybe 6th or 7th or 8th on our depth chart if everybody was healthy. And he's showing that he could play like a Raven. I'm very excited about that. Malachi Starks and Mike Green still look good as well. Devin Leary, I have nothing to say. Again, he wasn't good last week. He's not going to be good next week. He wasn't good this week. It's okay. It's whatever, man, at this point. Cooper Rush didn't look too great either. I don't really have high expectations of backup quarterbacks. I'm somebody who thinks we probably would have been better off just trying to bring Snoop back. I'm not saying Snoop was all that, but I just think we would probably be better off with Snoop. I think Snoop is better than Cooper Rush and Devin Leary at this point, but I also was curious why the Ravens never looked into bringing Ryan Tannehill back, but maybe they just think he's too washed. But one of the other things that I took away from this game was Tyler Loop is starting to find he's starting to find his swag. He's starting to really come into his own. I saw I'm assuming that's his family in the stand during the games with the sign saying Loop, there it is. I thought that was pretty funny. So like Loop in the game, he went about either 4 for 5 or 5 of 6, but he's kicking, he's making these 50-yarders. I think he's gonna be solid this year. He was making me a bit nervous the past couple weeks in training camp and last week. However, I think ultimately he'll be fine. Like I've been saying the past couple months, we don't need him to be Justin Tucker right out the gate. We just need him to be league average. Because unfortunately, last year, Justin Tucker wasn't even league average. Justin Tucker was, literally the worst field goal kicker in the league last year. We just need somebody who could come in and be average. And we should be fine ultimately. We still need to be more aggressive on offense and not just rely on our kicker to bail us out like we would in years past. But again, we should be fine. Let me know what were the main takeaways you took from this game against the Cowboys, and who do you think saw their stock rise the most in this game? Do you think it was Keon Martin? Do you think it was Teddy Buchanan? Do you think it was Mike Green and Malachi Starks? Or do you think it was Tez Walker?